Okay, secondly, we are going to consider space. Now, although time is linear for our point of reference for right now, that's our frame of reference. Time is just, you can't go back, you can't become 12 again if you're not already, it's like, it's linear, so that's number one. Number two, space, we're going to add, I consider time as a space of time, just for our purposes. Does that one make sense? Hope. So space, in addition to time, we're going to add two things. Now, believe it or not, space becomes pretty philosophical. If you ask somebody what space is, they might consider outer space. That it's a very philosophical question. So I've just narrowed it down. And for number two, for space, in addition to time, we're going to add your physical space. Yes. So physical space meaning your room, or one that I've taken over in my case. Your car, your classroom. Since this is education, we'll consider it school. So we interrupted this video on space because my doorbell rang. And I love it. We have a no soliciting sign up on our doorbell, or right below our doorbell. And because of my project that I'm doing, like this, I end up talking to whoever rings my doorbell with the question of how do we reinterpret things like no soliciting. So I ask if I can record their conversations. And so this has been 30 minutes later, and I had a delightful discussion with a mother and her 17-year-old son, who are Jehovah's Witnesses. And I just had a really nice discussion with them. I think they left in a little bit of a hurry. Because as I was saying, and I don't want to play it now, I have recordings from when I've traveled, from all over the United States. And so if I happen to see a student or talk to a student, I'll ask their permission to record the conversation so that I can just kind of get a feel of where students are coming from, because that's really my goal of iSchool, is to hear from students and to reach them. Anyway, it was just kind of perfect timing, because what I'm talking about is space. The time that we have here as humans, which is being kind of dominated by public schools from 5 to 18. We can round it up to 20, let's just say 15 years, because there's preschool. Anyway, I couldn't write this stuff. Well, I guess I do. All right, let's continue with space. So time, we said, is number one. Time is linear. 1-to-1 ratio. For now, we'll say 1 year equals 1 year, etc. And then the second thing I wanted to point out, number two, is space. So now we have time and space. And we're going to consider time, the time that we take up throughout the day is also the time in our space. But then let's redefine that. Again, it's kind of a philosophical issue, but let's say time is a space, and then we have our physical space. Your room, your car, your home, whether there's a soliciting sign or not. So there's space that you have while we have this time on this planet as we know it. So we have a wicked problem, we have an issue of time, and then we're talking about space right now. And the other space, oh, I just love solicitors. The other space we have to consider, besides our physical space, like I said, the physical space is your room. And of course, that isn't just one-dimensional. Let's start with two-dimensional. So now you have a space of time, and now we have a physical space. And the third one that I've just kind of chosen to talk about in this is your mental space. Cognitive, it's whatever space is being taken up in your head. So essentially, what are the conversations that you're having with other people? What dominates your conversations? Okay, so we have number two, space, and we're going to make this three, the space of time, your physical space, and your cognitive or mental space.